Hey everybody, my name is Michelle and today I have some easy read book recommendations for you guys. So basically books that are easy to get through, that are quicker reads for when you're in a reading slump or for when you're busier and you just don't want to read long and difficult books. Personally, I like to switch up my big fantasy books with some smaller easy reads to keep my reading flow going. And I hope with this video I can maybe give you some recommendations for books that are a bit easier, a bit quicker, so basically just easy reads for when you feel like a book like that. And yeah, let's just get started with this video and then I'm going to give you my book recommendations for easy reads. The first book I would recommend is After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book tells the story of Lauren and Ryan. They have been married for quite a while, but they feel like their relationship isn't going very well. So they decide to take 1 year off their relationship to do whatever they want. They don't speak to each other, they don't have any contact with each other. And during this year we follow Lauren and what she does, what she thinks and how she feels about love. She talks with other people and basically this book is a lot about love, about relationships and how you can deal with that. So Taylor Jenkins Reid is mostly known for books like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six, but she also has some romance novels and After I Do is my favorite book of hers after Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones. This book has a very easy reading flow. The story is pretty basic, you know. It's a married couple who takes a year off their marriage. It's original, but it's not very difficult to get into. You also get some flashbacks to Lauren and Ryan meeting each other and how their relationship grew. And the thing is with this book, it's very sweet. It's very, I don't know, sort of heartwarming to read. But for me, it was very easy to get through. I think I read it in about a day or two. It's just the writing style and the topic. It makes it so easy. You just fly through it. I think it's hard to explain, but I think it's just because the story is relatively easy and simple and just the writing style is so comfortable somehow to read. That's why I really love it and that's why I would also recommend it as an easy read. So with this one, it's a lot about romance and relationships. But it's one of my favorite easy read books. The next book I want to recommend is actually a Christmas themed one and it is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This book is a modern retelling of A Christmas Carol and it's about a 16-year-old girl named Holly Chase who is very spoiled and not very nice, so a modern day Scrooge. And she gets visited by the Christmas ghosts of past, present and future. But Holly doesn't change her ways and shortly after this she dies. And in her afterlife she is recruited as the new ghost of Christmas past. So this is a Christmas themed book. So I would mostly recommend to read this during autumn or Christmas time, but of course you can read it any time of the year. You can do whatever you want. This book is such a cute and fun retelling. It's very easy to get through. The story again, it's not even that simple because it's sort of weird with being recruited as a new ghost of Christmas past, but I guess the world building and the sort of characters are very easy to get into. Holly Chase is very interesting as a main character because especially at the beginning she's not likable at all, but I really love the writing style of this book and I love that it's such a cute retelling of an old story. It's definitely very modern in that way and yeah, it's also really easy to get through as I said before. This is definitely an easy read. Yeah, it's sort of a contemporary of course, but with some sort of magical elements added to it. It's so cute and it always makes me feel happy. I definitely need to read this again soon. And if you want a Christmas themed easy read, then The Afterlife of Holly Chase is definitely your book. Then for my next book I want to recommend Ink by Alice Broadway. I've talked about this book many times before, but it's definitely an easy read, so here it is again. Ink is a YA book and it's the first book in a series. It's about a young girl named Leora who lives in a city where everyone is marked and tattooed with all the things they have done and achieved. When you don't have any markings, you're called a blank, and blanks are not trustworthy, at least that is what Leora has been told. At the beginning of the book, Leora's father dies and this is what sets in motion the plot, and after that it gets interesting. So this book is very much a basic YA story. It does have an original fun premise with like the markings and the blanks, but overall it is pretty basic. It's sort of your classic YA book. But I think it has done this classic YA bookish style very well. The story is original, but the world building is very well done, and somehow it's not difficult to get into at all. Again, a book that I read in about a day. It was a very pleasant surprise to me because I had not expected it to like it that much. But Ink tells such a, well, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, again, such an original story, and you fly through it quite easily. It's just one of those books that is very easy and very quick, and that's why it's in this video. Then I have one of my all-time favorite books, and it is My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton and Jodie Meadows. So Cynthia Hand, again, I really love her writing apparently. My Lady Jane is a very fun retelling of the story of Lady Jane Grey, who was Queen of England for 9 days. This is a book that is not meant to be taken seriously at all. This book is silly, it's funny, it takes history and completely turns it around. There are a lot of modern jokes in it. The narrators, or like the writers, talk to you throughout the book as the narrators. It takes a story that in history is quite tragic, but makes it so funny, and the book presents itself as the true history that nobody wants you to know. This book is especially funny if you love historical fiction, or if you have a little bit of interest in like the Tudor history. I'm a huge Tudor history fan, so for me it's like the funniest thing ever. And I would recommend this as an easy read because it's so funny. This book makes me laugh out loud so many times, and that's why you just want to keep on going. I will say though, this one is a bit bigger than some of the other books on this list. But it didn't feel like that to me because it's just so well written, so clever, and so funny again. Not only is this an easy read book, it's also a book that will cheer you up if you're feeling down. So if you want to read a heartwarming, feel-good book, pick My Lady Jane. It's so funny, I love it so much, and I will definitely be rereading this in the future because it always puts me in a good mood. Then I would also like to talk about Between Sisters by Kristen Hanna. I have a lot of Kristen Hanna books, and apart from The Nightingale, which is one of my all-time favorites, and The Great Alone, which is also very good, I think all the Kristen Hanna books are sort of on the same level. But for this video I have chosen Between Sisters because that is the one that I've read about 2 weeks ago, at least when I'm filming this. Between Sisters is, surprisingly enough, about two sisters named Megan and Claire. They had a rift between them when they were younger, and that rift never fully healed, so they are quite estranged from each other. But then Claire is getting married, and that sort of forces them back together. I feel Kristen Hanna books, again apart from those two that I mentioned, always sort of follow the same formula. It's romance, it's drama. Somehow I can sort of compare these books to fast food. You get through them very easily, but they're not necessarily like the best things ever. I would reach for a Kristen Hanna book if I feel like, again, something easy, but also something sort of dramatic, sometimes tragic, but also a lot about romance, a lot about feelings, friends and family. But it is the kind of book that even though I think it's good, they are not great. They don't go, I don't know, for me they don't go as deep as some other books will go. So I also get through them really easily. I don't think everyone will love them because you need to love romance and drama, but I personally really love those books as an easy read. So I love Between Sisters. I also have Night Road, which I love, and Firefly Lane, that's also a good one. All those books are sort of the same. They are quick, not the best, but if you're in the mood for that sort of book, they're perfect. Next up, the Percy Jackson series by Ray Riordan. This is the first book, The Lightning Thief. There are 5 books in this series, and this series is about a boy named Percy Jackson who discovers that his father is a Greek god, and that all the Greek gods are real, that all the Greek myths are real, and the Greek monsters, and he is sent to a Camp Half-Blood, a camp that is called Camp Half-Blood, where all the half-bloods or demigods are going to. So I read this series last year. For a lot of people it's like a childhood favorite. For me, I didn't read them when I was younger, but I read them last year and really loved them. I love how cleverly these books are done, because they take Greek mythology and they take it in this modern setting, but actually it's also really informative because it really teaches you about a lot of Greek mythology, but in a funny, modern way that is very approachable also for young children. Because it is middle grade, it is quite easy, and it is an easy writing style, and it is something that you can read very easily. What I also love is that these books are very funny. They also make me laugh a lot, and if you love Greek mythology but you don't want to read like a heavy Greek mythology book, then pick Percy Jackson because it will make you smile, it will make you feel good, and it's easy to read. Then for the last book that I want to recommend, it's not necessarily about an easy topic, but I do consider it an easy read. And that is Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. This book takes place shortly after, or I believe at the end of World War II, and it follows 5 different point of view characters who are all trying to find safety on board of a ship called the Wilhelm Gustloff at the end of the war. That's all I want to say about the plot, but it is about World War II, so that always makes it a heavy topic. But still, I do consider Salt to the Sea okay, maybe not necessarily an easy read, because it can be difficult to read about topics like this, but it's definitely a quick read. And that's mostly because this book has very short chapters. Like, the chapters are all really short and they follow these 5 different characters. What is also interesting is that these are all 5 very different characters and not all of them are necessarily likable. You're not rooting for all of them. But because of the short chapters, the change in point of views and the easy writing style, it is quite a quick read. So this is a book I guess I would recommend if you want to read something more serious, if you want to read something about historical fiction, but you're not in the mood for a big heavy book. This one is shorter, this one is quicker to get through. It is one of my personal favorites, I love it very much. I really should reread it sometime soon, but it's a very good book and it's sort of an easy quick read, even though the topic is something more difficult. So that was it for this video, and that was it for my easy read book recommendations. I hope these can be useful to you, and please let me know down in the comments your recommendations for easy read books, because personally I always can use more recommendations. So please don't hesitate to let me know. But then this was it for this video. If you like this video, please go subscribe or maybe give it a thumbs up, because as always I would really appreciate that. And hopefully I will see you again very soon in my next video. Bye!